Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome back to the Wobble Enjoy Sports channel. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. The inaugural NRLW North Queensland Cowboys roster is locked in. It's done. They had a bit more time to lock it in for the development players, but from May the 24th, every coach in the NRLW had to finalise their top 24 players. Well, Ben Jeffries said, we're going to get all of our development players in as well, and we're all going to start day one, Sunday, May the 28th, and go abseiling off the top of Queensland Country Bank Stadium. That's exactly what's happened, and pre-season for the NRLW, for at least the North Queensland Cowboys, has commenced. Exciting times for a start date, a kickoff date of Saturday, the 22nd of July. This is my roster review. I'm going to talk about some players that you need to watch, some players that are just going to kick that friggin' door down and leave a huge impression on everybody. So let's get stuck straight into my 2023 inaugural North Queensland Cowboys roster review, NRLW style. First of all, got to talk about the inaugural head coach, Ben Jeffries. I was lucky enough to interview the man about a month or so ago. There will be a link. You became the head coach for the Papua New Guinean Orchids. You say that there was a bit of serendipity sort of thing when you go back to New Zealand. You went back to England to coach the Papua New Guinean side in the Rugby League World Cup, Ben.
The biggest thing for me, like to go back to England and coach, was an awesome experience. But to go to POM, I believe I had to go to POM multiple times to get in front of the females over there so they could trust me. There's no use me coaching from a distance. So as many times I could get across there, and thankful the club let me go and see the females leading into the World Cup. It was all about creating that trust and bond, as I mentioned before. That's how you try and get the best out of players. So it was an awesome experience. Like, I'm still in contact with them. Still in contact with the CEO over there. My assistant is always messaging me. In fact, I had sent some files across to her today so she can start her program basically with the females going forward. It's just that experience, that 6-7 weeks experience made me truly a better coach, better person. And I can't thank the players for first and foremost for believing in what we're trying to get across them, but the staff were outstanding. Honestly, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it because some of the females, some of their backgrounds you would not believe, and obviously I'm not going to mention on live air, but like some of their backgrounds aren't the best, and for them to achieve what they did it's a very proud moment. But they changed the face of rugby league in Papua New Guinea for the rest of their lives, basically. So if anyone does any homework around the 2017 World Cup, they were slated big time on the social media. But by the time they walked back in from this World Cup, there was obviously still got your skepticals, but honestly, they've changed the face of female rugby league in Papua New Guinea for the rest of their lives.
Please go and check that out. And the impression that he gave to me, and I think everybody else, is that he is such a player manager. He is very hospitable. He's very warm. And I just cannot be any more impressed and any more excited by Ben Jeffries, not just because of how sympathetic, how much of a two-way street he can have with every player in their own individual way, but the resume that he's got stacked up for himself. A Queensland under-19s coach, Papua New Guinean Orchids coach as well, which helped him get some of those Orchids players over here to the NRL this season, NRLW this season. He's got a huge resume the size of me friggin' arm, bigger than that. Man, I am just so wrapped to have Ben Jeffries as the inaugural Cowboys coach for the NRLW. On April the 4th, 2023, the inaugural player was announced, and that was Emma Manzelmann. Emma Manzelmann, if you are a regular on this channel, you all know or should know that I am an absolute mega fan of this player, and she recently was announced that she's going to have her debut Origin game this coming week, actually, coming off the bench in jersey number 14. It is richly deserved. And with the Queensland Rugby League BMD Premiership that wrapped up a couple of weeks ago as well, while the entire Mackay Cutters team that I was supporting, which Emma Mantleman is a part of, was unlucky to not make the grand final, I'm telling you, she was the best hooker throughout that entire competition. I'm telling you. And I reckon she's about $1.10 favorite to take out the first captain tag as well. So I reckon not only is she going to be the inaugural player or is the inaugural signee, but I reckon when it's all announced, she will be our inaugural captain. We have 4 New South Wales players playing for the North Queensland Cowboys. We have Maya Middleton, Bree Chester, Crystal Blackwell, and we've got Kira Dibb, and I reckon she was about the 6th signing for the Cowboys. Completely out of nowhere, completely out of left field, head absolutely exploded. I reckon she's arguably got the best kicking game in all of the NRLW competition. And to know that she's going to be partnering Tallulah Tillett as well, who she's had a couple of games with in the NRL All-Stars for the Indigenous side as well. Tallulah Tillett, Kira Dibb, Emma Mantleman, they form up 3 parts of our spine, 3/4 of our spine. So who's going to be our fullback? We actually looked overseas towards England, and who we've got coming over is a woman named Fran Goldthorpe. Fran Goldthorpe, at the age of just 20, coming into 21 years of age, has done a hell of a lot in her career. Fullback is definitely her position. I implore you all to go and check out her highlights as well. So some of the other internationals that we've got as well, we've got 2 Fijian internationals, and they were our last 2 signings. And please give me a crack while I give their names a crack, with all due respect. So we've got Vitalina Nakore. She is a 22-year-old winger / centre, and she has just killed it for the rugby women's side, Fiji and Drua, who are back-to-back champions in the Super Rugby competition. The other Fijian international that we signed is Merewalasi Rokowa Ono. I really hope I pronounced that correctly. Merewalasi Rokowa Ono. She is a 28-year-old who is earmarked or bookmarked to play halves, and I reckon she'd be maybe our 2nd, possibly even 3rd string choice to play halfback for the Cowboys. So it's great to have a little bit more depth and experience when it comes to that halves position. Switching over now to a couple of other representatives. So we've got one Kiwi representative as well, Autumn Rain Stevens Daly. She's got a hell of a lot of experience. She is a great winger, and so it will be great to have her playing on one edge. We've also got one Cook Islands representative as well, in the form of April Natapuna, and she has been destroying it for the South Logan Magpies in 2023, helping them get to a semi-final / preliminary final this year. She is a prop. She is absolutely enormous, and I would absolutely choose her in my starting 13. Speaking of my starting 13, let's go into how I think the North Queensland Cowboys should go come round 1, 2023. In at fullback, the England international, Fran Goldthorpe. My wingers would be Autumn Rain Stevens Daly and Vitalina Nakore. My centres, China Palata and Jasmine Peters. Let's stop right there. China Palata has been floating about since about 2018, thereabouts, and she had to leave for ACL reconstructive surgery in 2020, and she's had a really, really long, hard fight back. Also represented Tonga. She's a Queensland under-19s representative, and she has been chosen as 18th player for the Queensland Women's State of Origin this Thursday. She plays centre. She can even add a pinch play at fullback. She is an amazing talent, and I was lucky enough to see her play a couple of times live in person. She is something else. A contentious one as well, Jasmine Peters. I've seen her really blossom at fullback this year for the Mackay Cutters. She has indeed learnt her craft at the Gold Coast Titans NRLW side last year, and I think even the year before that, or the two competitions in the 1 year last season. So Jasmine Peters, she is probably preferred to play fullback or wing, but I reckon she's good enough to play centre. I reckon she could play anywhere in the back line, save for the halves, or save for the halves. But I would definitely have Jasmine Peters as one of my two centres starting in 2023. So going into the halves now, as I indicated before, Kira Dibb and Tallulah Tillett. In the forward pack, April Natapuna, Emma Manzelman, and Tiana Rafstrand-Smith. And she's coming up with her sister, who is about 3 or 4 years younger than Tiana is, and her name is Ebony Rafstrand-Smith. Tiana Rafstrand-Smith has played about 8 games for the NRLW Gold Coast Titans, and she has impressed every time she's popped on the jersey. She is also a representative for the Queensland as well. She is a huge star that hasn't hit her potential just yet, but she's absolutely enormous, and I would have her partnering April Natapuna, and I reckon this is where our strength lies, is in our forward pack when the Cowboys do kick off. We're going to have Talisha Harden, in my opinion, Shania Power in the back row, and at lock position, Papua New Guinean international Jessica Reeves. Jessica Reeves has been honing her craft down in for the Central Coast Roosters over the past 6 or so months in season 2023. Again, she is a Papua New Guinean international that did score a great try, a really, really good try in the Rugby League World Cup. She can add a pinch play prop position as well, but I just reckon she's got the go in her to play in the lock position. And look, if you really need me to talk about or explain to you who Talisha Harden or who Shania Power is, like, fair dinkum, come on, boys and girls. Talisha Harden, Queensland Rugby League legend, former Jillaroo, former Queensland Maroon star. She is a legend of the game. And Shania Power is very quickly becoming a legend of the game too. If she isn't already one, she just keeps on getting better and better. She was not that I think it's been crowned yet. That's something that I didn't actually look up, but she has been arguably the best player in the Queensland Rugby League BMD Premiership in 2023, and to have both Talisha Harden and Shania Power as our back row pairing, pillars of strength, fair freaking dinkum. So let's go into the interchange position now. And I'm going to just save jersey number 14 for the end of this. But for the rest of the interchange bench, I'm going to choose Sarika Muka, who was a Gold Stars most improved player in 2022. In jersey number 16, Papua New Guinea international Essay Banu. I've seen her play live in person. She is absolutely amazing. I really hope she gets the debut jersey for when the season kicks off. And Mackenzie Wheel, she's actually a premiership winner for the Newcastle Knights NRLW side. She made a huge impact when she made her debut in the 2022 competition, and she's been doing such a good job, or did such a good job at the Mackay Cutters for 2023, and nearly got the Cutters into the 2023 grand final. The reason why I haven't really spoken about jersey number 14 is this is the only area of concern, or the only real eyebrow raiser. Emma Manzelman, from everything that I've seen of her over the past 2 or 3 years, Emma Manzelman is not a full 70-minute player. She needs, or has required, to have at least a 15-minute spell on either side of halftime collectively. And going through our roster, there isn't really a second backup hooker. So just by looking at this roster, who would actually fill into that hooker position? If she needs to go off, Emma Manzelman for a quick spell, does the experience of Talisha Harden come in or does somebody from well outside, from the back, come in and just surprises everybody at how she can play in the dummy half position? So let's go through the rest of the team. I've spoken about 16 of them. Let's go through the rest of the 11 players that I'm yet to touch on. So starting with Sarah Koroy. She was born in the Northern Territory, 22 years of age, but she's also a Papua New Guinean international as well. She can play centre or lock. And that has me thinking, if she can play either in the back line as a centre or in the forward pack as a lock, maybe she can hone in her craft and maybe dart out a dummy half or so. But I don't think so. But again, you never know. So Sarah Koroy is a Papua New Guinean international, the third I've spoken about. The fourth is Shelley Long, a centre born in Port Moresby. She's 23 years old as well, and she's been playing for the Bears, Tigers, and the South Logan Magpies over the past couple of years, helping the South Logan Magpies to an undefeated regular season, but then falling just short come the preliminary final, semi-final a couple of weeks ago. So there's Shelley Long. Going further down from the Hunter Valley, we've got two players who can play either centre or second row. One of them being Bree Chester. She is an Indigenous All-Stars representative from 2022, or one of the past two contests is Bree Chester, a representative in the All-Stars arena. And so too is Maya Middleton, preferably a centre or winger as well. She's also come up from Newcastle. Both these ladies have been playing for the Newcastle Knights in the Harvey Women New South Wales Women's Premiership as well. Unfortunately, they didn't make the semi-finals in 2023, but they both had themselves some good games as well. Did Bree Chester and Maya Middleton. Jataya Faiafua, I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's a 20-year-old who played a few games for the Gold Coast Titans. Ebony Raffstrand-Smith is on a development contract, one of the 4 development contracts in the 28-woman roster for the North Queensland Cowboys. We've got Ebony Raffstrand-Smith, who is on a 2-year deal, and she can play at centre. And I've got a mate called Patty G who said that she is going to destroy human beings when she gets her chance at first grade. So I'm holding it to you, Patty G, mate. A 17-year-old named Lily Pocock. She's from the Whitsundays. She's on a development contract. Libby Surha, she has been playing for the Mackay Cutters in that centre position. And that is someone that you all need to keep an eye on over the next 2 or 3 years. She's on a development contract as well, but I'm telling you, she is going to go mighty bloody close if there are injuries or suspensions in 2023. She is so deceptively quick. She just goes from naught to 100 in 2 seconds flat. Fair dinkum, man. But she's an Australian Prime Minister's 13 representative as well, and she's been a part of the Women's National Championships as well over the past few years. So Libby Surha plays at centre. Lillian Yarrow has been a part of the Cowboys Women's Academy for a handful of years now. And she's got herself a 3-year deal, but she's a prop, 19 years of age. And again, she's represented Queensland on a couple of different levels as well, has Lillian Yarrow. And just a few more to go. Shaylee Joseph, the sister of Kylie Joseph, she's been learning her craft with the Central Coast Roosters over the past year or so, but she was born in Queensland. Also a part of the Australian schoolgirls that did their thing in 2022. And finally, there is a lady named Crystal Blackwell. She is 18 years old. Her preference is to play at fullback, but she's from Goulburn. She's from freaking Goulburn, mate. So she would know all about the Canberra weather, and so do I. So I feel like I've got, a sister from another mother sort of thing, like there's a Canberra girl. There's a Canberra girl playing for the North Queensland Cowboys, potentially, but she's got herself no, she's not on a development contract. She's just this young thing that Ben Jeffries has caught a sniff of, caught wind of, and he said, get up here, because we like the look of you. And then we've got the 2 Fijian internationals as well. So who fills in at jersey 14? I'm not sure, because there isn't really another hooker of note, to be honest with you. So that is an area of concern. But other than that, we got pretty good depth that covers every other position. So if Emma Mantleman does go down, and again, I touch wood that she doesn't or gets suspended, touch wood, it's going to be interesting to see who will help her out, fill in jersey number 9. So that will be interesting to see. But yeah, that's the roster done and dusted. The Cowboys are playing the Gold Coast Titans Saturday, the 22nd of July at Cbus Super Stadium. I will be absolutely there with bells on, boys and girls. Fair dinkum. Yeah, will I be doing another roster review of all the other NRLW sides before Saturday, the 22nd of July? Yes, I will. Thank you very much for giving this a crack. I am so excited to see how these ladies, how these women train up over the next couple of months. And yeah, go you North Queensland Cowboys. Can't wait till my membership comes in. And yeah, thank you guys. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Take care. Adios.